Donald Trump has gone after Stephen Colbert more than just about any other late-night host. More than Kimmel, more than SNL, more than anyone else. He's called Colbert unwatchable, said his show is dying, claimed nobody watches it, and even suggested that CBS should be investigated for bias.
On Sunday, Donald Trump went after fellow Republican, Tennessee Senator and man wistfully reading the dollar menu, Bob Corker. Senator Corker uncorked this about how badly Trump needs his advisors.
I think Secretary Tillerson, Secretary Mattis, and Chief of Staff Kelly are those people that help separate our country from chaos.
Pretty sure chaos is Trump's nickname for his iPhone.
But this guy's very, very convincing. So you're over here at the moment, you spend a lot of time UK, US?
Well, I work a lot in the US.
Yeah.
It's very easy to earn good money there. And I don't have to be here in the winter, which I refuse to do.
As objectively as you can, have you noticed that America's different now Trump's in power?
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
In what way, though? Because we see it obviously here from the news.
It's completely mad.
Down there, do you feel it?
People don't want to admit how mad it is. Eric and I were on tour, and we went on stage the night after the election in front of 2,000 people, and they're sitting there like this. They cannot believe what's happened, and we said it's our duty. But it's completely mad. I mean, the guy says, I've sent an armada towards North Korea. We find 2 days later that it's actually sailing in the opposite direction. That's what people say, except that the Trump supporters, 38, 39%, they still think he's great. These are the stupidest people you've ever met. There was a woman on supporting him, and somebody said, what do you feel about that time when he was recorded on the bus, that if you're a celebrity, women expect you to grab them or grab their pussy? And she said he would never have said that if he'd known he was being recorded.
Hard times can strike, and that's just what happened to Donald. He was even forced into the ultimate act of degradation, starring in his own reality show. In addition to 2.5 Men, The Apprentice was also a pretty popular show. When Trump bangs a supermodel, he closes his eyes and imagines he's jerking off.
Lisa is a stone cold freak. Lisa fucked Larry King, Don King, Rodney King, and Billie Jean King in the Burger King bathroom. Donald say he wants to run for president and move on into the White House. Why not? It wouldn't be the first time you pushed a black family out of their home.
Donald, you've got a great sense of humor. You've been so happy to embarrass yourself on Saturday Night Live in the casino business. You know, Donald Trump is such a douchebag that if you look up the word douchebag in the dictionary, there's a picture of Spencer Pratt. But if you look close, Spencer Pratt is holding up a picture of Donald Trump.
The Hammerstein Ballroom. Speaking of ballroom, Mr. Trump, how are those banks holding up? Donald always says money can't buy happiness, but it can buy the best Eastern European whores New York City has to offer.
Anthony Jeselnik is making his first appearance on the roast. This is the first time someone has lost their virginity around Donald Trump without him having to promise them American citizenship. Donald, you are gross. Nobody likes you, but you come back every couple years and nobody knows why. You're like the McRib. Your hair sucks. You look like Justin Bieber caught on fire.
It's exciting, Trump. Are you having a good time?
Good time.
All right, well, tell your face.
In response, Donald Trump tweeted, Senator Bob Corker begged me to endorse him for re-election in Tennessee. I said no, and he dropped out. Said he could not win without ... my endorsement. He also wanted to be Secretary of State. I said no thanks. He is largely responsible for the horrendous Iran deal. Touting his shutdown as an unprecedented opportunity to cut more Democratic priorities. No, it's not a shutdown, it's a shut-portunity. When God closes a food inspection program, he opens a listeria outbreak. Trump is threatening to use this excuse, fire a whole bunch more people from the federal government, posting, Republicans must use this opportunity of Democrat forced closure to clear out Deadwood. We have a response from the Deadwood.
Morning. Best time of day to go yourself.
Yeah. That's
It's true.
But on January 14, 2026, Stephen Colbert said one sentence, just 11 words that took about 8 seconds to say, and after that, Donald Trump went completely silent. Not for a few hours, but for 72 straight hours. 3 full days without a single Truth Social post about Colbert, no mention of him at rallies, and no attacks on CBS. The moment happened during Colbert's opening monologue while the federal government was entering its third day of a shutdown. Federal workers were facing missed paychecks, national parks were closing, essential services were being cut, and meanwhile Trump had spent that morning posting about late-night TV ratings. Colbert walked through the real impact of the shutdown, talking about frozen transit funding, halted federal projects, and workers who had no idea when they'd get paid. Then he paused, looked directly into the camera, and said, "A leader more worried about late-night jokes than federal paychecks has already admitted what matters most to him." That was it. No long rant, no dramatic montage, no extended roast. But the reason the line hit so hard was because it left Trump with nowhere to go. If he ignored it, he looked weak, something he almost never does when it comes to Colbert. If he attacked Colbert, he would only reinforce the point that he cared more about late-night jokes than the shutdown. And if he tried to defend himself by saying he cared about federal workers, he'd have to explain why he spent the morning posting about TV ratings instead of ending the shutdown. Every possible response worked against him, so he chose not to respond at all. For people who grew up watching presidents get mocked on late-night shows and then laugh it off or even appear on those same shows, this moment felt different. Colbert didn't really attack Trump. He simply pointed out a contradiction and let it sit there. Over the next 72 hours, Trump posted dozens of times. He criticized Democrats, judges, and the media. He bragged about polls and complained about investigations. But he never mentioned Colbert once. For someone who had spent years calling Colbert untalented, unwatchable, and even suggesting CBS should lose its broadcast license because of his jokes, that kind of silence stood out. It wasn't normal. It felt intentional. And it suggested the line landed exactly where it was supposed to. What made it effective was that Colbert never called Trump stupid, cruel, or even a bad president. He simply suggested that Trump cared more about jokes than people, and Trump couldn't deny it without running straight into his own behavior. When the shutdown ended a few days later, Trump declared victory, claimed he got what he wanted, and said Democrats had backed down. He complained about media coverage, but still didn't mention Colbert. Even when he returned to criticizing late-night television, he targeted Jimmy Kimmel instead. Colbert's name was still missing, and maybe that's what makes the moment so interesting. Colbert never followed up, and Trump never addressed the comment. But the silence said plenty. Not because Trump lost a fight, but because he found himself caught in a logic trap with no clean way out. Trump has always been able to turn attacks into fuel. He thrives on conflict, criticism, and outrage. But what Colbert gave him wasn't an attack, it was an observation. A calm, simple statement that functioned more like a mirror than a punch. And mirrors are a lot harder to fight. The brilliance of it was recognizing that some battles are won by giving your opponent nothing to push against. Trump often needs an enemy, an attack, a controversy he can fire back at. This time, there was none of that. Just a single sentence, a straightforward observation, and a trap with no exit. So for 72 hours, he chose silence. Colbert never commented on that silence, and Trump never acknowledged the line. But moments like this reveal a pattern. Sometimes the most effective statement isn't the loudest one. It's the one that leaves no response that actually helps.